Chapter 71 Outsmart Hutchison Whampoa without any bloodshed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are no other additional conditions involved in the transaction between the two parties. When Lin Xiuji, Tang Shilian and other representatives of the Imperial Group left Huifeng Bank, they first took a car to the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay to meet their boss Yang Ming. At this time, Yang Ming was preparing to have lunch with his parents at home. Lin Xiuji and Tang Shilian came over. Yang Ming knew that the secret transaction between Imperial Group and Huifeng Bank had been completed. Boss, this is the acquisition agreement between our Imperial Group and Huifeng Bank. Huifeng Bank has no additional conditions. Study room on the third floor. Lin Xiuji showed the agreement to Yang Ming. Yang Ming read it and found that this agreement did not involve any other additional conditions. Yang Ming knew that historically, the contract signed by Li Jiacheng and Huifeng Bank involved many additional conditions, but outsiders did not know it from beginning to end. At this point, Lin Xiuji and Tang Shilian were both surprised now. That's because Shen and Huifeng Bank are asking for help from me. Besides, now Lin Xiuji and Tang Shilian don't know about the extra 300 million that Yang Ming gave to Shen in private. Let's have lunch first and then go back to the Empire Group. Yang Ming, Lin Xiuji, and Tang Shilian had lunch together. When Yang Jirong and his wife learned that Yang Ming had swallowed up Hutchison Whampoa, the second largest foreign company in Hong Kong, the couple was so shocked that they almost choked on their food. This should be the news that my son said last night that shocked the world. Daddy, Mommy, just wait and see the news. This matter will be reported soon. After lunch, in the afternoon, Yang Ming, Tang Shilian, and Lin Xiuji got into the Rolls-Royce, and Chen Zhenhua took Yang Ming back to the Empire Group in the Federal Building. Queens Road, Huifeng Bank Headquarters, Huifeng Bank Conference Room, 14:00 p.m. The Board of Directors of Huifeng Bank held a confidential meeting. This confidential meeting of the Board of Directors was chaired by Shen to discuss the sale of Hutchison Whampoa shares to the Imperial Group. Directors attending the meeting included Shen and John Bao. Among them, John Bao already knew in advance in the morning, Mao Shirley, Director of Huifeng Bank, Peter Wei, Political Director of Hutchison Whampoa, John Madden, Chief Executive of Wheelock Company, Director of Huifeng Bank, Ross, Director of Huifeng Bank, Bao Yugang, World Shipping King, Taipan of Global Shipping Group and Asia Shipping Group, Director of Huifeng Bank, Su Shixuan, a Hong Kong Chinese tycoon, Su Juanheng's father, and Director of Huifeng Bank, Tang Maosheng, Director of Huifeng Bank. Neither Jardine Matheson nor Swire's two British-owned representatives were present. People like Wei Peter, Bao Yugang, Su Shixuan and others all hurried over after receiving calls from Secretary Shen Bai. At first, they didn't know what was happening. When Shen Yan announced that he would sell all of Hutchison International's shares to Imperial Group Yang Ming, the person present was most shocked than Bao Yugang. Bao Yugang already had the idea of abandoning the boat and landing. Then he, the World Shipping King, must have a lot of money after abandoning his ship and landing. With such a large amount of funds, one must purchase properties on the shore. Properties such as Wharf, Hutchison Whampoa, etc. are all on his radar. Last week, Jardine Land was unable to fight back and had already been swallowed up by Yang Ming of the Imperial Group. Unexpectedly, just a few days later, Shen actually announced that he would sell all the shares of Hutchison International to Imperial Group Yang Ming. How did Yang Ming convince Shen Bao Yugang didn't know. However, Bao Yugang has experienced ups and downs after all, and his embarrassing moments were not noticed by others. Shen looked at the expressions of the shareholders present. From Bao Yugang, he did notice the momentary gaffe of the other party. Although many people present are shareholders of Huifeng Bank, their support or opposition has no effect. Because the decision-making power of Huifeng Bank lies not only with the Board of Directors, but also with Shen Chairman of Huifeng Bank. Basically, any decision made by Huifeng Bank's executive team cannot be opposed by other shareholders. Now Bao Yugang and other shareholders can only take a look. This time, Shen summoned them to inform them of this matter. Had these shareholders not known until Huifeng Bank and Imperial Group announced, they would be the ones who would be embarrassed, it can be said. This transaction was a highly confidential transaction, and it was also a very fast transaction. Regarding the transaction, no other directors of Huifeng Bank were consulted beforehand. and the opinions of the directors and management of Hutchison Whampoa were not even consulted. In other words, when Shenbai decided to sell Hutchison Whampoa shares to the Imperial Group, he also made the decision. Shenbai looked at the shareholders present and said, "There are many reasons why I sold Hutchison Whampoa shares to Imperial Group." At this time, Bao Yugang and others began to listen carefully. He had indeed lost his composure just now, and quickly realized that he could not afford to offend either Shenbai or Huifeng Bank. The development of myself and global shipping still needs financial support from Huifeng Bank. First, Imperial Group has acquired 12% of Hutchison International's shares in advance. Second, Imperial Group has huge funds that can eat up other shares of Hutchison Whampoa. Third, regarding Imperial Group's investment in certain aspects, we at Huifeng Bank need to further cooperate with Imperial Group. Fourth, we should carefully consider selling all Hutchison International shares to Imperial Group for the future development of Huifeng Bank and our responsibility to all shareholders of Huifeng Bank. Every reason Shenbai mentioned for selling to the Imperial Group shocked the directors present. Imperial Group and Yang Ming are just like the emergence of Chinese capital. They had seen Yang Ming in the newspaper last week, a very young man in a wheelchair. They don't know how this young man got his wealth. Judging from what Shenbai said now, Mr. Yang's strength far exceeded their imagination, like Wharf. Bao Yugang knew that without the huge financial support of Huifeng Bank, it would be difficult for him to take over Wharf. Yang Ming of the Imperial Group spent more than 3 billion Hong Kong dollars on his own to swallow up Wharf. If you have any questions, you can just ask. Shenbai, who was sitting at the head of the conference room, looked at the directors who were working and asked, now that Shenbai is saying that, what can they say? For example, Bao Yugang actually wanted to ask Shen Yan if he could not sell Hutchison International's shares to Yang Ming, but to him and global shipping, Bao Yugang knew that he would definitely not be able to ask here. This does not mean that this meeting will end like that. This involves a transaction with the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong, and the interests involved are really huge. Present, someone is silent. Someone is smoking a cigar. Some people don't know what they are thinking. No matter what kind of competition they wanted to fight, the confidential meeting ended at 6 o'clock in the evening. In the end, Huifeng Bank's board of directors unanimously agreed to sell all shares of Hutchison International to Yang Ming of Imperial Group, even if it was equivalent to selling to the Imperial Group at half the price. These directors seemed to have no objection. Please read it. Chapter 72: The Rude Mr. Bao and His Son. You are listening at novelfull.audio. End of the meeting. Shenbai called Hutchison Whampoa CEO Wei Li to inform him of the decision. This morning, Wei Li had already known it in advance, and he was mentally prepared, so he was not that uncomfortable. Mr. Shen, I comply with the decision of the board of directors of Huifeng Bank. 18:30 p.m., Yang Ming, Lin Xiuji, and Tang Shilian appeared at Huifeng Bank building. When Yang Ming came to the conference room in a wheelchair, Yang Ming saw that in the conference room, apart from Shenbai, whom he met last night, there were other white people and Chinese people, basically all of whom he did not recognize. Mr. Yang, let's sign the contract first. Yang Ming represents Imperial Group, Shenbai represents Huifeng Bank. Witnessed by the representative of the board of directors of Huifeng Bank, the two parties signed this formal acquisition contract, which means that an old British-owned foreign bank has officially fallen into the hands of emerging Chinese businessmen. Applause erupted in the conference room. However, Yang Ming didn't know how much he was really happy for Yang Ming. Mr. Yang, let me introduce you to these famous figures in Xinjiang. Yang Ming came to this world. The first celebrity I met was the family maid Zhong Chuhong. Then there are Shenbai and Mr. Xia, the CEO of the Jockey Club. This is Mr. John Bao, our vice chairman and financial director of Huifeng Bank. Hello, Mr. John Bao. Hello, Mr. Yang. John Bao bent down and shook hands with Yang Ming, who was sitting in a wheelchair, to show respect. Next, people like Mao Shirley and others. Yang Ming knew about the economic development of Xinjiang in his previous life and had actually heard of it. Now that the real person appeared in front of him, he was also very surprised. These are typical white people from country Y, except these. Like Peter Wei, he is also the political director of Hutchison Whampoa. There is also the John Ma Shur in front of him. His identity is not simple. He is not only a director and shareholder of Huifeng Bank, but also a director. He is also the current executive of Wheelock. However, when Shenbai introduced John Mashiro looked at Yang Ming warily. Yang Ming has successively swallowed Wharf, and now Hutchison Whampoa. Its comprehensive strength is already the first among the 4 major foreign banks in Hong Kong. The reason why John Mashiro looked at Yang Ming warily was because this mysterious and young Yang Ming began to frighten him inexplicably. Mr. Horse Stool, hello. Yang Ming smiled and shook hands with John Mashiro. Yang Ming knew that Wheelock, he knew the right opportunity, and of course he would eat it, otherwise he would be targeted by Bao Yugang sooner or later. Historically, Wheelock was eaten up by the Pao family. This is Mr. Bao Yugang. Shenbai introduced from the side. Mr. Bao, I know him. He is the world's #1 shipping king. Talking about Bao Yugang, in Yang Ming's previous life, especially when he was studying the economy of Hong Kong, Bao Yugang, like Li Jiaqing, was a very important representative of wealthy Chinese businessmen. Historically, Bao Yugang was so successful both at home and abroad that in addition to becoming the world's shipping king and controlling the 2 giants of global shipping and Asia shipping, he also successively swallowed up Wharf, Wheelock, and invested in Zada Bank, etc. However, Bao Yugang was successful in business because he only had 4 daughters in his life. Later, he got cancer. Before his death, he divided the huge family industry into 4. Before this, his strength far exceeded Li Jiaqing's. Hello, Mr. Yang. Bao Yugang also bent down to shake hands with Yang Ming and say hello. At this time, he still felt very painful. Why didn't he eat Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa by himself? However, in front of the powerful Yang Ming, he knew that he could not show it. Mr. Bao is a senior, I should learn more from you. After Yang Ming complimented Bao Yugang a few times, Bao Yugang said that everyone should get together more often. Then there is Su Shixuan. Su Shixuan's identity is not simple either. His family is also known as another major shipping king in Hong Kong, and his strength is far behind that of Bao Yugang. Later, Su Shixuan became more famous as his son Su Juanheng. This Xiangjiang playboy has always been very well known. As for Tang Maosheng, he is also a wealthy Chinese businessman in Hong Kong, but he is relatively low-key. When Yang Ming was introduced by Shenbai, Yang Ming got to know them one by one, and at the banquet in the conference room, Yang Ming simply drank a glass of red wine with them. From today on, Yang Ming's identity is destined to be even more complicated. The meeting is now over, other directors have left. Yang Ming also returned to the Imperial Group, because this transaction has far-reaching implications in Hong Kong and even the world. A press conference must be held to announce it. When Yang Ming, Lin Shiji, Tang Shilian and others returned to the Imperial Group, Bao Yugang had just left in a hurry. Bao Yugang took a car back to Bao's mid-level villa in Deepwater Bay. When he got out of the car, the second son-in-law Wu Guangzhen ran out to greet him. In the afternoon, his father-in-law suddenly received a call from the secretary of the chairman of Huifeng Bank in the office of the chairman of Global Shipping in Prince's Building to go to Huifeng Bank for a meeting. Wu Guangzhen guessed that something very important was about to happen. Father, go into the study and talk. Bao Yugang had 4 daughters and 4 sons-in-law. Among them, the eldest daughter married Su Haiwen, a white man, the second daughter married the current Wu Guangzhen, the third daughter married an Oriental, the fourth daughter married a doctor. Among the 4 sons-in-law, Bao Yugang still liked Wu Guangzhen the most because he was from Xiangjiang. As for the others who are either white or Asian, and one of whom is a doctor, how could he like them? Father, what happened when Huifeng Bank suddenly notified you? Yes, something big has happened indeed. Mr. Shen has decided to sell all the shares of Hutchison International to Mr. Yang of the Imperial Group. What? Shenbai actually sold Hutchison International's shares to Yang Ming. When Wu Guangzhen heard the news, he was even more upset than Bao Yugang. After all, he has considered Hutchison Whampoa his own property. After Wharf was swallowed up by the Imperial Group, he wanted to let his father-in-law swallow up Hutchison Whampoa. Now the Imperial Group seems to have suddenly appeared, and it has swallowed up Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa successively. How could he not lose his composure? Wu Guangzhen is over 30 years old and has been learning to manage the company from his father-in-law these years. Seeing the second son-in-law's gaffe, Bao Yugang said, I just heard the news, and I was a little shocked. I even almost showed my ugly face. Father, Why don't you object to Mr. Shen selling Hutchison International's shares to the Imperial Group? Logically speaking, if you want to sell, it will be sold to our Bao family. Guangzhen, you are still too young and energetic. Seeing his second son-in-law's appearance, of course he understood his mood. Father, me. Calm down first. After Wu Guangzhen controlled his emotions, Bao Yugang said, although I am a director and shareholder of Huifeng Bank, we do not have any decision-making power. All matters of Huifeng Bank are actually decided by the senior class. When Shenbai announced this decision, it means that Shenbai has been secretly talking to the Imperial Group for a long time, and that is just the final result told to us. Father, are you saying that the Imperial Group has already been secretly in contact with Mr. Shen? What do you think? That Wu Guangzhen thought so when he thought about it. Please read it. Chapter 73. Mr. Li lost his temper. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Last week, Yang Ming officially announced that he had swallowed up Wharf. When the report was filed, Bao Yugang had seen Yang Ming's photo in the newspaper. Tonight, he met Yang Ming in person for the first time in the conference room of Huifeng Bank building. What was Yang Ming's first impression of Bao Yugang? Yang Ming is really a pity. Unfortunately, he was in a wheelchair. However, Yang Ming's business prowess was praised by Bao Yugang. Bao Yugang felt that if he had a daughter, she would definitely marry Yang Ming. It's a pity that he only has 4 daughters, and all 4 of them are married. Looking at the second son-in-law now, it seems that he is still much different from Mr. Yang. Father, in this case, Mr. Yang is too powerful. Certainly. Bao Yugang's eyes were already looking out the window. He was convinced of the defeat. As for Yang Ming's silent acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa, he is not considered Yang Ming's opponent, because Yang Ming has already been secretly acquiring shares of Hutchison International, even without Huifeng Bank's shares in Hutchison International. Yang Ming and Imperial Group are already the major shareholders of Hutchison International. Father, does Mr. Li know? That Wu Guangzhen suddenly thought, the person who wanted Hutchison Whampoa more than the Bao family was none other than Li Jiaqing. Bao Yugang also knew at the beginning that Li Jiaqing would definitely compete with him for Hutchison Whampoa. Who would have thought that he would be swallowed up by Yang Ming, who suddenly appeared? Think of this, Bao Yugang knew it, and he was afraid that if Li Jiaqing knew about it, he would be even more miserable than him. I probably don't know yet. Father, do you want to inform him? That Wu Guangzhen asked. I'll inform him. When Bao Yugang picked up the landline in the study, he called the Li family directly in Deepwater Bay. At this time, Li Jiaqing had already returned home from get-off work. Now, in addition to Li Jiaqing and Zhuang Yueming, the Li family also has 2 sons, and the family is also happy and harmonious. At this time, the landline phone in the living room suddenly rang. Zhuang Yueming went to answer it in person. Hello, I am Bao Yugang. Mr. Bao, I am Yueming. Mrs. Li, Mr. Li is back. He just came back. You ask Mr. Li to answer the phone. Li Jiaqing is reading the newspaper, Zhuang Yueming said. Mr. Bao, please wait a moment. Sir, it's Mr. Bao calling. Li Jiaqing put down the newspaper and walked over, picked up the landline phone and asked, Mr. Bao, it's me. The 2 of them can be considered friends and partners, but they are not overly familiar. At this time, among the Chinese businessmen in Xiangjiang, Li Jiaqing and Bao Yugang were the most famous. Now that he suddenly received a call from Bao Yugang, Li Jiaqing was still a little strange. Mr. Li, let me tell you some news. Mr. Bao, tell me. We held a secret meeting in the conference room of Huifeng Bank building in the afternoon. Mr. Shen, chairman of Huifeng Bank, has decided to sell Hutchison Whampoa's shares to Mr. Yang of Imperial Group. What? Li Jiaqing just heard the news and looked gloomy. Even though he tried to calm down, his heart was still in a state of turmoil. As expected, Imperial Group and Huifeng Bank held a press conference to officially announce the news to the outside world. Bao Yugang said over there. Thank you for the news, Mr. Bao. After Li Jiaqing hung up the phone, he had a very ugly look on his face. At this time, the 2 sons who were about to play with their father noticed that their father looked wrong, and they were so frightened that they hurried back to the room. Now only Mrs. Zhuang Yueming is left aside. Zhuang Yueming also saw that something was wrong. Sir, what happened? Mr. Shen has sold shares in Hutchison International to Mr. Yang of Imperial Group. Ah! Zhong Chuhong was also very surprised when he heard this, and he couldn't hide the disappointment on his face. She had known Shenbai since she was not a senior member of Huifeng Bank, even in order to allow Changji Industrial to obtain more Huifeng Bank funds for development. Zhong Chuhong met Shenbai many times. It was precisely because of that Li Jiaqing and his wife invested a lot of affection and money in Shenbai. However, for Li Jiaqing, it is actually rewarding. Like the reconstruction of the Chinese bank, Shenbai decided to hand over the reconstruction of the Chinese bank to Changchun Industrial. Zhong Chuhong and Li Jiaqing originally thought that if the two parties continued to cooperate like this, Li Jiaqing would be very sure to win the shares of Hutchison Whampoa. Yang Ming, the Imperial Group that suddenly appeared now, was swallowed up directly. They didn't even have a chance to take action. During this period, Li Jiaqing asked his confidant Zhou Qianzhao to secretly acquire about 5% of Hutchison Whampoa's shares. If Hutchison Whampoa is now swallowed up by Imperial Group, then his acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa actually doesn't make much sense. First losing Wharf, and now losing Hutchison Whampoa, how could he not feel disappointed? The feelings and money that have been invested in Shenbai over the years have finally not received the return that Li Jiaqing and his wife wanted. Gentlemen. Zhong Chuhong held Li Jiaqing's hand. It seems I'm overthinking it. Li Jiaqing said painfully, for Shen Yan and Hutchison Whampoa's shares, they are like the beauties Li Jiaqing has always had a crush on. Now that the beautiful woman is suddenly easily chased by the rich second generation, he naturally has no chance. However, Li Jiaqing also knows that after struggling for so many years, he is now one of the richest Chinese in Hong Kong, and his heart is still very determined. Sir, since even Mr. Bao didn't eat Hutchison Whampoa, then it doesn't matter if our Li family didn't eat it. Zhong Chuhong reacted quickly. Zhong Chuhong couldn't understand the thoughts of those white people, like Shen Yan. Why did the other party suddenly hand over Hutchison Whampoa's shares to the Imperial Group? The fact that Imperial Group was able to swallow up Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa successively shows that Mr. Yang of Imperial Group is not simple either. No matter what, the development of Changchun Industrial still needs the support of Mr. Shen and Huifeng Bank. Zhong Chuhong reminded again, now it is the Li family who seeks help from Shen Bian and Huifeng Bank, not Shen Bian who seeks help from the Li family. If Shenbai is unhappy because of this incident, it will be difficult for Changchun Industrial or other companies of the Li family to borrow money from Huifeng Bank in the future. For companies like these, it is simply impossible to develop without the support of huge bank funds. Li Jiaqing reacted quickly. Madame Zhong Chuhong said it right. From the beginning to the end, she was always looking for help from Huifeng Bank. When he thought of this, Li Jiaqing, who was over 50 years old, finally realized, why should he be greedy? There are times in life that must come true. Don't force anything in your life. What is yours is always yours, and there is no point in forcing it if it is not yours. Please read it. Chapter 74. Yang Ming shocked the world by swallowing Hutchison Whampoa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. February 8, 1978, the second day of the first lunar month, midnight 0:00, Queens Road, Huifeng Bank Group Headquarters Building. The lights are bright. At this time, in the conference room, in addition to Shen Yi, John Bao, and others, there were also reporters from various media outlets in Hong Kong and even some foreign media reporters based in Hong Kong. They all received a very important news, and Huifeng Bank announced the important news to the outside world. Although they inquired in advance that it might be related to Hutchison Whampoa, they didn't know the whole thing. At the same time, Federal Building, Floor 29, the conference room of the Imperial Group headquarters, it's also brightly lit now, in addition to Chairman Yang Ming, Female Secretary Lin Shuji, and Financial Director Tang Shilian, all the company's more than 200 employees are here. Now reporters from major media and newspapers in Hong Kong are gathered here. Imperial Group also has important media news released to the outside world. When the time is almost up, Yang Ming, who was sitting in a wheelchair, said, "Welcome journalists from Xiangjiang to attend this press conference. Now I have important news to officially announce to the outside world." Those reporters started taking photos of Yang Ming and others with their long guns and short cannons. Last week, our Empire Group just acquired Wharf. This morning, we have reached an agreement with Huifeng Bank to acquire shares of Hutchison International. At 18:30 in the evening, Empire Group officially signed an acquisition agreement with Huifeng Bank. Contract. In other words, 6 hours ago, Hutchison Whampoa was acquired by Empire Group, and we, Empire Group, are also the largest shareholder of Hutchison Whampoa. When Yang Ming officially announced the news, the reporters present were stunned. To say that Yang Ming originally acquired Wharf has shocked many reporters. This time, Yang Ming's Empire Group acquired Hutchison Whampoa, the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong, which was even more shocking news to them. Hello, Mr. Yang, I am a reporter from Oriental Daily. I would like to interview you on a few questions. When Yang Ming finished announcing the matter, he handed over the press conference to Tang Shilian. It's time for him to go back and rest. Tonight may be another sleepless night for many people. When Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce under the protection of Chen Zhenhua and others, he quietly left the Federal Building and took a car back to the Repulse Bay Mid-Levels Villa, at the Huifeng Bank Building. Shen also personally announced the sale of all 90 million ordinary shares of Hutchison International to the Imperial Group. What surprised the reporters most was that Huifeng Bank actually sold the shares at half the price. Gave it to Imperial Group. In other words, the equivalent of $1 was sold to the Imperial Group for 50 cents, this made those reporters very interested. Why did Shen and Huifeng Bank make such a decision? However, Shen did not answer directly. Hutchison International's management, including Wei Li and others, had already learned the news from Yang Ming in advance in the morning and were mentally prepared. In the evening, Wei Li learned that the Imperial Group had only swallowed up 90 million Hutchison International shares from Huifeng Bank for 630 million Hong Kong dollars. In addition to envying Yang Ming, his original ambition for Hutchison Whampoa also disappeared. Yang Ming had already talked with him and gave him time to think about it. If Wei Li and his management team are not willing to stay at Hutchison Whampoa, he can leave at any time. If he is willing to stay, his and his management team's positions will remain unchanged, but their nature will be different. Before, he was just a professional manager hired back by Huifeng Bank. Now Yang Ming is his new boss, especially Li Caixin, Wei Li's deputy and the executive vice president of Hutchison Whampoa. He did not expect that overnight, Hutchison Whampoa would fall into the hands of the Imperial Group. Shen personally called Wei Li to inform him of the incident. Wei Li held a management meeting in the conference room of Hutchison Building. Li Caixin, Xia Boyan and others were all shocked when they heard the news, that is, Shen from Huifeng Bank and Yang Ming from Imperial Group have been secretly discussing Hutchison International shares, but they never knew it. They only found out when the transaction between the two parties was completed. Everyone, I have met with Mr. Yang from Imperial Group in the morning. He also knows that our management is interested in Hutchison Whampoa. Mr. Yang made it very clear to me that Huifeng Bank does not care about Hutchison Whampoa's. No one can sell the shares to our management, because we are just employees who have been invited back. However, Mr. Yang also said that even if Mr. Yang acquires Hutchison Whampoa, he will not interfere with Hutchison Whampoa's rectification and reform. If you are not willing to stay at Hutchison Whampoa, you can voluntarily resign. Li Caixin, Xia Boyan, and Peter Wei turned out to be the troika of Hutchison Whampoa's management. These three people are the executive vice president, business director, and political affairs director. Historically, after Wei Li was forced out by Li Jiaqing, Li Caixin first took over Wei Li's position to appease Hutchison Whampoa's white management. Hutchison Whampoa is the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong. From top to bottom, it is basically dominated by white people. At this point, Li Jiaqing was also very worried that Hutchison Whampoa would be ignored by these white people after the acquisition. He first drove Wei Li away, and then gradually sent his confidants Li Yiguang, Mai Lizi and other confidants to enter Hutchison Whampoa. When he gradually after taking control of Hutchison Whampoa and becoming the majority shareholder of Hutchison Whampoa, Li Caixin and others were driven away by Li Jiaqing, and Hutchison Whampoa finally became Li Jiaqing's main company. Yang Ming is different now. He knows that white managers like Wei Li and Li Caixin have ambitions, but he will not exclude them. If they were willing to obey his new boss, they could stay in their jobs. If they don't want to, then they can just get out. With the shares he currently holds, Yang Ming is much stronger than Li Jiaqing. President, we listen to you. The following executives all looked at Wei Li. Wei Li said, I have talked with Mr. Yang. Mr. Yang is a good person and does not seem to be a strong person. I am willing to stay and manage Hutchison Whampoa as a professional manager. Since Wei Lidu said that, Li Caixin and others would naturally not object, in other words, these white managers at Hutchison Whampoa have temporarily stabilized. When Yang Ming returned to the mid-level villa in Repulse Bay, it's already past 1 o'clock in the morning. There has been no news from Yang Jirong and his wife. In addition to waiting for the shocking news, they are also waiting for their son to come back. Now when I saw my son coming back in a Rolls-Royce, the couple and the housekeeper Lin Dejong came out. Daddy, Mommy. Peter, why are you so busy now? Li Yufang asked. Daddy, Mommy, at 6:30 in the evening, Mr. Shen and I formally signed a contract to acquire Hutchison Whampoa's shares from Huifeng Bank. From now on, Hutchison Whampoa, the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong, belongs to the Yang family. This is the news, Yang Ming said. Yang Jirong and Li Yufang were shocked and speechless after hearing this. Please read it. Chapter 75. Zhong Chuhong. Your boss is really too rich. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hutchison International has hundreds of well-known subsidiaries, and even more unknown subsidiaries. Calculated this way, comparing the Yang family's Huihong Electric Fan Company to Hutchison Whampoa is like comparing a mosquito to a cow. Neither Yang Jirong nor Li Yufang could believe that Yang Ming had just swallowed up Wharf Group, one of the largest foreign banks in Hong Kong. Now it actually swallowed Hutchison Whampoa again. Daddy, Mommy, it's very late, go back first. Yang Ming took the two of them back upstairs. When the maid Azu pushed Yang Ming upstairs, she had not seen Zhong Chuhong yet. Isn't Zhong Chuhong back yet? Master, didn't you give Chuhong 3 days holiday? That is to say, Zhong Chuhong will only end his vacation tomorrow, having just swallowed Hutchison Whampoa. Yang Ming is also very excited now. However, I have to take a shower first. When Yang Ming felt comfortable, he soaked in the bathtub and took a bath. After being served by Azu, she got dressed and returned to the study. Azu saw the young master reading the newspaper and taking notes, and she was a little envious of Zhong Chuhong. She knew that Zhong Chuhong could take notes for Yang Ming, but she couldn't. This was because she didn't read much. Master, is Hutchison Whampoa a big company? It's very big, with hundreds of thousands of employees in Hong Kong and around the world. Jardine, Hutchison Whampoa, Wheelock and Swire, they are known as the 4 major foreign banks in Hong Kong. This is not just a monopoly on major industries in Hong Kong, but also many industries internationally. Hutchison Whampoa has hundreds of subsidiaries involved. When Wei Li was not in charge of Hutchison International, the company had suffered losses year after year because it had too many employees. Even then, Hutchison Whampoa still had hundreds of thousands of employees. Based on the current population of more than 4 million in Hong Kong, it can be said to be very terrifying for a large group to support 200,000 to 300,000 people. Now Azu understands how terrifying it would be for the young master to acquire this foreign company. Azu didn't dare to say anything anymore. By the time Yang Ming finished his work, it was already past 3 in the morning. It's very late. And it looks like I'm going to bed. Wait for Yang Ming to go back to bed and lie down to sleep. Early the next day, Yang Ming just woke up. At this time, all of Hong Kong was shocked by the news of the Empire Group's acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa. It's Yang Ming from the Imperial Group again. Photos of Yang Ming being photographed in a wheelchair appeared on the front pages of major media outlets in Hong Kong. Not surprisingly, this is definitely front-page news in Hong Kong. Even Southeast Asia, China, and overseas, especially the British capital, did not expect, nor did the Chinese capital, that the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong would eventually fall into the hands of Yang Ming. Shops on the first floor of Chungking Tower. It's the second day of the Lunar New Year, and it's still very lively here. Zhong Chuhong came back from vacation to celebrate the new year with her family, but she spent most of her time in the store helping her parents sell clothes. Zhong Chuhong thought that she needed to record things for young Master Yang at night, and she wanted to go back to Yang's Repulse Bay mid-level villa early. Thinking of the rare opportunity to come back, I spent more time with my parents. Chuhong, look, is your boss in the news again? Mother Zhong just got a newspaper from a customer. The news on the front page of the newspaper was about the acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa by Imperial Group. among them, a young man was sitting in a wheelchair. "Mom, let me take a look." Zhong Chuhong took the newspaper and took a look. It was really about the boss Yang Ming and the Imperial Group. Last week, the news of Empire Group's acquisition of Wharf also shocked Xiangjiang. Zhong Chuhong was in the Yang family villa at the time, and she knew it clearly from reading the newspaper. Now Yang Shao has acquired Hutchison Whampoa. The scale of Hutchison Whampoa is even larger than that of Wharf. "Mom, it's really Mr. Yang. Boss Yu is really too rich." Hutchison Whampoa, who doesn't know in Xiangjiang that basically many aspects are related to the citizens, Zhong Chuhong thought about whether she should return to the Yang family villa early. If young Master Yang hired a new maid to take her place, and if she wanted to record things for young Master every day, she might not be able to do it. When a deep sense of crisis arose, Zhong Chuhong said, "Mommy, it seems I have to go back to the Yang family villa to work early." "Go ahead, you can't help me here." Zhong Chuhong immediately went home to pack up and took a taxi back to the Repulse Bay mid-level villa. After Yang Ming got up, Yang Jirong, his wife, and all the servants in the Yang family knew that young Master Yang Ming had become the new owner of Hutchison Whampoa. "Peter, do you still have to go to work today?" Li Yufang saw that her son had gone to bed so late and now got up so early again. She felt really sorry for her son because he was too tired. "The most important thing is that my son has not fully recovered yet. Mommy, I've been busy lately, so I still have to go back to the company. There is no way around this. There is no one who can take charge of everything in the company yet, and many things require Yang Ming's intervention." When Yang Ming finished breakfast, Yang Jirong said embarrassedly, "Peter, I'm sorry, Daddy and Mommy can't help you. With the company his son is now in charge of, Yang Jirong knows that his ability can only manage his own small electric fan company. Daddy, you and Mommy have helped me a lot." Yang Ming got into the Rolls-Royce. Chen Zhenhua and others drove away from here and drove to the Federal Building. When Yang Ming's car just arrived at the Federal Building, at this time, more reporters came outside and wanted to conduct an exclusive interview with Yang Ming. "Hello, Mr. Yang, I am the financial reporter of Sing Tao Daily and I would like to conduct an exclusive interview with you." Yang Ming was not interested. After being fended off by Chen Zhenhua and the security personnel of the Federal Building, Yang Ming went to the office of the chairman of Empire Group in a wheelchair. Yang Ming entered there. Lin Xiuji and others had already returned to work. Yang Ming sat in the wheelchair and looked out the window. "I wonder what Li Jiacheng, who has completely lost Hutchison Whampoa, is thinking at this time." Yang Ming no longer thinks about that. 9:00 am. After Yang Ming sent the global stock information to each person in charge, Yang Ming looked at Jason's 5 subordinates and said, "Now we are the largest shareholder of Hutchison Whampoa, but we are not yet a full controlling shareholder. During this period, we will continue to acquire Hutchison Whampoa's shares and will not stop until it reaches over 49%. 9:30 am, the Hong Kong stock market opens. Instead of rising, the stocks of Hutchison International, Whampoa Dockyard and other companies began to fall. After Yang Ming acquired Hutchison Whampoa, it means that the listed companies related to Hutchison Whampoa have no sense of speculation anymore. Even if Li Jiacheng asked Zhou Qianzhao to buy about 5% of Hutchison International's shares some time ago, he had to sell them as quickly as possible. Otherwise, the price would definitely continue to fall. Huifeng Bank was only sold to Imperial Group for 7 yuan per share. Now Hutchison International stock price is floating around 12 or 3 yuan, and it will definitely continue to fall back. Please read it. Chapter 76. Yang Ming serves as chairman of Hutchison Whampoa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Ming has acquired Hutchison Whampoa and he is going to inspect his company. 10:00 am. Yang Ming, Lin Xiuji, Tang Shiyan and others left the Federal Building by car and drove to Hutchison Building. Yang Ming had just arrived at the gate of Hutchison Building in a Rolls-Royce. Hutchison Building. Wei Li, Vice Chairman and Executive President of Hutchison Whampoa, and important senior executives of Hutchison Whampoa all came out to greet him. "Welcome Mr. Yang to inspect Hutchison Whampoa." Wei Li stood up and said. Yang Ming smiled and Lin Xiuji pushed him inside. The Hutchison Whampoa executives who followed Wei Li had different expressions, and they didn't know what Yang Ming's attitude was. Wei Li has already said that Mr. Yang will not interfere with Hutchison Whampoa. In reality, Yang Ming and others took the elevator to the conference room of Hutchison Building. Yang Ming sat at the head of the conference room. Lin Shiji and Tang Shilian sat next to Yang Ming. On the long table in the conference room, there are Wei Li, Li Caixin and others on the left, and Xia Boyan, Wei Peter and others on the right. When Li Caixin saw that Yang Ming only brought 2 female staff members, he felt relieved. Yang Ming looked over and saw that Hutchison Whampoa, led by Wei Li, was actually an all-British management team, except for a small number of Chinese nationals. Historically, because Hutchison International is a British-owned industry, it is normal for Hutchison Whampoa's management to be basically British. However, historically, after Li Jiaqing acquired Hutchison Whampoa, he had great conflicts with white management such as Wei Li and Li Caixin. Now that Yang Ming sees these all-British management, he already understands why Li Jiaqing is like that. Li Jiaqing is really afraid that Hutchison Whampoa will be completely ignored by these white people. Speaking of which, there are also many white men who are important heroes around Yang Ming. The first white employees of the Imperial Group were all British. Everyone, my name is Yang Ming, the chairman of Empire Group. I just acquired Wharf some time ago. I think you all know me. For Yang Ming, these people have read about it in the newspapers. In addition to being young, Yang Ming is in a wheelchair. However, Yang Ming was wearing a pair of glasses, and they couldn't see clearly what Yang Ming was looking at. To be able to swallow up Wharf first and then Hutchison Whampoa is definitely not an ordinary person. Now I officially announce that I will serve as the chairman of the board of directors of Hutchison Whampoa. Directors, Miss Lin Shiji, and Miss Tang Shilian are also the new directors of Hutchison Whampoa. In other words, Yang Ming is now Hutchison Whampoa's new head coach. In addition to being the chairman of Empire Group, he is also the chief executive of Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa. This point was already confirmed when Yang Ming acquired Hutchison Whampoa. Here, I promise everyone that I will not interfere with the management of Hutchison Whampoa. I announce that Mr. Wei Li will continue to serve as CEO, Mr. Li Caixin will serve as Executive Vice President, Mr. Xia Boyan will continue to serve as Business Director, and Mr. Peter Wei will continue to serve as Executive Vice President. Continue to serve as Political Director. Last night, Yang Ming was in the Huifeng Bank conference room. He had already talked with Wei Peter. Wei Peter is a smart man and has already been on Yang Ming's side. Of course, Peter Wei was originally sent by Huifeng Bank to supervise Wei Li and others. Do you have any objections? Yang Ming looked at Wei Li and others and asked. I fully support Mr. Yang's appointment. Wei Li stood up and said. Li Caixin, Xia Boyan, and Wei Peter all expressed their approval of Mr. Yang's appointment. Since Wei Li and the current Hutchison Whampoa Troika have no problems, other management naturally have no objections either. Mr. Wei Li, I am not familiar with the other senior executives of Hutchison Whampoa. Please introduce them to me. Yes, Chairman. Chairman, this is Mr. Richard, Vice President of Administration. Wei Li began to introduce these management teams to Yang Ming respectively. Like Wei Peter, Yang Ming already knew him. As for Xia Boyan, it was the first time for Li Caixin to meet him, especially Li Caixin, who joined Hutchison Whampoa very early and experienced the Qi Dezun era and the Wei Li era. Historically, after Wei Li was forced out by Li Jiaqing, for the time being, in order to smooth the transition, Li Jiaqing asked Li Caixin to take over Wei Li's position. This Li Caixin is not simple. At that time, he completely regarded himself as the spokesperson of Hutchison Whampoa and did not take Li Jiaqing seriously at all. He even hoped that Li Jiaqing would not interfere with the development of Hutchison Whampoa like Huifeng Bank. In the end, Caixin Li had an unresolved conflict with Li Jiaqing. After Melis and Fok Janning completely replaced the management rights of Hutchison Whampoa, they finally drove Caixin Li away, and Hutchison Whampoa finally became Li Jiaqing's company. Judging from the current management, Li Caixin and others are still very strong. Their ambitions are still there, and they do not want Yang Ming to interfere with anything at Hutchison Whampoa. They just hope that Yang Ming can be a major shareholder. Yang Ming didn't give a damn either. Now he is still using Li Jiaqing's method. It is easy to drive away these managers, but it will lead to chaos in Hutchison Whampoa's management, and the loss will definitely be Hutchison Whampoa and him. Yang Ming came here this time to appease Hutchison Whampoa. Yang Ming has just been appointed Apart from his official role as Hutchison Whampoa chairman, virtually nothing else has changed. Yang Ming sees all these people in his eyes, and if he doesn't obey him when the time comes, he can only use them to scare the monkeys. When Wei Li introduced the management, Yang Ming smiled and said, "Then Hutchison Whampoa will be left to everyone." Yang Ming did not stay. Wei Li and others personally escorted Yang Ming downstairs. When they saw Yang Ming getting into the Rolls-Royce and leaving, Wei Li's expression was normal except for Li Caixin, who was uncertain. Other management saw that when Yang Ming really didn't interfere with the company's management rights, he finally felt relieved. "Mr. Yang is gone." Someone shouted excitedly. Xia Boyan and Wei Peter each went back to their offices. Li Caixin followed Wei Li. "President, I want to talk to you alone." Li Caixin said. "Go to my office." After arriving at Wei Li's office and closing the door, Li Caixin said directly, "President, I think Mr. Yang is not simple either. If you say not to interfere in Hutchison Whampoa's affairs now, what if it happens in the future?" Li Caixin's words completely revealed that the other party was still very ambitious for Hutchison Whampoa. "Vice President Li, we will talk about the future later." Wei Li didn't want to say any more. In a Rolls-Royce, Lin Shiji and Tang Shilian sat next to Yang Ming respectively. "Boss, I see that the white executives of Hutchison Whampoa don't take you seriously at all. It's obvious that they want to continue to ignore Hutchison Whampoa." Lin Shiji said directly, "They can all see this." Yang Ming sighed and said, "Not bad. Now I just hope to make a smooth transition to mastering Hutchison Whampoa. Now I don't have a suitable candidate around me to replace Wei Li and others." Lin Shiji and Tang Shilian also sighed. They knew their abilities. Even if Yang Ming asked them to serve as the CEO of Hutchison Whampoa, they might not be able to do it. How could those Hutchison Whampoa executives be convinced by them? After all, Yang Ming still lacks a truly independent general around him. The Imperial Group has only been in development for more than a month. It can hire more employees. It is really difficult to find generals who can truly take charge of their own affairs. Please read it. Chapter 77. The king chooses his ministers, and the ministers choose their king. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Since ancient times, the king chooses his ministers, and the ministers choose their king. Melis was a top student at Cambridge University. He later came to Singapore and served as the CEO of Ha Par Company in Singapore. Because of his investment in Singapore, Li Jiaqing had business dealings with Ha Par Company. Since he got to know Merisi, he has recognized Merisi's ability very much. Li Jiaqing has invited Merisi to join his company many times. Even though Changchun Industrial later gained a certain level of strength, Merisi still did not agree and declined politely every time. A few years ago, Merisi left Singapore and came to Shenzhen to develop and work as a manager in this company. However, his reputation was not high. Except for Li Jiaqing's occasional contact with him, Merisi had been observing various aspects of Shenzhen. The development of large companies. Since the 1970s, Chinese capital in Shenzhen has been gradually rising. However, after all, British-owned foreign companies have developed for so many years, and Shenzhen is still dominated by British capital. He could see that among the Chinese capital in Shenzhen, the most promising ones were Chinese businessmen such as Li Jiaqing and Bao Yugang. Li Jiaqing has been trying his best to invite Merisi to join Changchun Industrial Group. Merisi did not agree rashly. He just wanted to see which company has more prospects and which company's boss is more suitable for him. What he didn't expect was that not long ago, a Chinese-owned empire group suddenly appeared and suddenly attacked Jardine Land and swallowed up Wharf. This made Merisi start to focus on the Imperial Group and Yang Ming. Merisi's secret investigation found that the Imperial Group had just been established not long ago. It was very powerful and had a very strong capital flow. Before Jardine Land could react, it had successfully attacked Jardine Land and swallowed up Wharf easily. At that time, Merisi became curious about Yang Ming, who was in a wheelchair. Even then, he felt that if Yang Ming could swallow up Wharf, he might not be able to swallow up Hutchison Whampoa, the second largest foreign bank in Hong Kong. What he didn't expect was that it wouldn't be many days. Imperial Group and Huifeng Bank reached deal, the formal acquisition of Hutchison Internationals. Shares from Huifeng Bank means that Imperial Group has acquired a second foreign bank after acquiring Wharf. This is still the second largest foreign bank among the 4 major foreign banks in Hong Kong. This started to make MaleProtagonist interested in Yang Ming. This mysterious young man was like the mysterious East, which he couldn't understand at all, and he couldn't figure out why Shen suddenly sold the shares of Hutchison International to Yang Ming. At this time, he added Yang Ming in the Imperial Group to his inspection list. Also on his inspection list are Li Jiaqing of Changjiang Industrial Company, Limited and Bao Yugong of Global Shipping Company, Limited. They are both on his inspection list. Mr. Yang of the Imperial Group was what he was most curious about now. He wanted to meet Yang Ming. The king chooses his ministers, the minister chooses the king. MaleProtagonist thought that Yang Ming didn't know him, so he wouldn't take the initiative to find him. Now that he has approached Yang Ming, he can be regarded as self-recommended. The most important thing is that MaleProtagonist knows, although the current Imperial Group has more than 200 people, it does not have a capable management team. Yang Ming left Hutchison Building. When he returned to the Federal Building in a Rolls-Royce, take the elevator up to the office of the chairman of the Imperial Group. When Lin Shoji went to make coffee for Yang Ming was naturally in a bad mood when he thought about the senior executives he had just seen in Hutchison Building. In his previous life, he didn't understand why Li Jiaqing acted like that after acquiring Hutchison Whampoa. Now when Yang Ming thinks from Li Jiaqing's perspective, he has understood that the white management of Hutchison Whampoa must be divided. Otherwise, how can Hutchison Whampoa truly belong to his private company? Yang Ming drank the coffee prepared by Lin Shoji while still looking out the window. There was a knock on the door. Lin Shoji went to open the door. After a while, he came in and said, "Boss, a white man who calls himself MaleProtagonist wants to meet you." MaleProtagonist? Historically, Li Jiaqing's right-hand man, Yang Ming remembers that MaleProtagonist swallowed up Hutchison Whampoa in Li Jiaqing. That is, after acquiring Hutchison Whampoa in 1979, MaleProtagonist joined Changchun Industrial Group and gradually became the second-in-command of Li Jiaqing in Changchun Industrial Group. At this time, it was just the beginning of 1978, Merisi has definitely not joined Li Jiaqing's Changchun Industrial Group. What Yang Ming didn't expect was that instead of looking for MaleProtagonist came to the door on his own. He knows that this is strength. If he hadn't swallowed Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa, it would have been impossible for someone like MaleProtagonist to do anything for him. Even Li Jiaqing historically only wanted to join Changchun Industrial Group after he successfully acquired Hutchison Whampoa. "Lin Shoji, please come in, Mr. MaleProtagonist." Lin Shoji went out to invite MaleProtagonist in person. Now MaleProtagonist is wearing a suit, no different from other white men. He glanced at the Imperial Group office area and followed Lin Shoji to the chairman's office. "When I came to the chairman's office, I saw a young man in a wheelchair drinking coffee. This is Yang Ming, the now famous chairman of the Imperial Group in Xiangjiang." "Hello, Mr. Yang." MaleProtagonist took the initiative to say hello. "Mr. MaleProtagonist." Yang Ming naturally knew Merisi. "That's because I learned about this man by studying the economy of Xiangjiang in my previous life." Yang Ming knew that MaleProtagonist and Ma Shimin were the most important white management representatives in the Li Jiaqing Group. He also suspected that Li Jiaqing transferred most of his wealth to Great Britain in history, and that MaleProtagonist played a big role in promoting and suggesting it. Effect. "Mr. Yang, congratulations on your acquisition of Hutchison Whampoa. Now the strength of the Qinghai Empire Group is greater than that of Jardine Matheson." Merisi said respectfully. "Now, outsiders don't know the strength of the Imperial Group alone. However, the strength of Hutchison Whampoa and Wharf has exceeded the current strength of Jardine Matheson land. However, I think there are big hidden dangers here." Merisi glanced at Lin Shoji next to him, thought for a moment and then said, "Mr. Yang, I want to talk to you alone." When Yang Ming heard this, he already guessed the purpose of MaleProtagonist's visit. He is not Liu Bei, and Merisi is not Zhuge Liang. Historically, Li Jiaqing recruited MaleProtagonist many times, but MaleProtagonist refused. It was not until Li Jiaqing swallowed up Hutchison Whampoa that the other party was willing to come out to work for Li Jiaqing. In his previous life, Merisi had been working diligently at Li Jiaqing in Changchun Industrial Group, and until he retired, he was assisting Li Jiaqing's eldest son. It is enough to show that Merisi is a man of good ability and loyal. Yang Ming knew that what he asked for was definitely different from what he got. "Lin Shoji, you go out first." Lin Shoji went out and closed the door. but Yang Ming wanted to hear what Merisi said about his so-called hidden dangers. Please read it. Chapter 78. Merisi volunteered. You are listening at novelfull.audio. He had done enough homework before Merisi came. He has a good understanding of the current situation of Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa, like the Wharf Group, after Yang Ming's acquisition. In addition to serving as the chairman and director of Wharf, he sent the finance department to the finance department of Wharf, but no other members were sent. In Merisi's view, this is also very dangerous. Mr. Yang did not send anyone to supervise, and it is possible that Wharf's main assets were jointly emptied by those senior executives. As for Hutchison Whampoa, the situation is even more serious than Wharf. Now Hutchison Whampoa is run by executives such as Wei Li and Li Caixin, and other outsiders cannot interfere with Hutchison Whampoa. Historically, Li Jiaqing swallowed Hutchison Whampoa and was unable to interfere with Hutchison Whampoa at the beginning. It took more than a year. After Li Jiaqing's shares in Hutchison Whampoa exceeded 40%, Wei Li was forced to resign, and the white management of Hutchison Whampoa continued to fight openly and secretly. Li Jiaqing has begun to arrange for Li Yeguang, Merisi and others to serve as executive directors, responsible for Hutchison Whampoa's most important real estate business. Nowadays, apart from being the chairman of Hutchison Whampoa, Yang Ming actually has not sent anyone abroad, not even the financial side. When Merisi analyzed Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa in detail to Yang Ming there, Yang Ming knew that Merisi was indeed a capable person. This kind of person, in Yang Ming's previous life. Merisi's success in assisting Li Jiaqing has been verified. Now that the other party has volunteered, his abilities cannot be concealed. Yang Ming said, Mr. Merisi, I heard that Mr. Li from Changchun Industrial Group has always wanted you to join his company, so why did you refuse? That Merisi said, Mr. Yang, I have been inspecting Chinese-owned enterprises in Hong Kong. Mr. Li and Mr. Bao are both the most promising Chinese businessmen in Hong Kong. However, since you acquired Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa, no matter what is it Mr. Li or Mr. Bao, their development and momentum have been suppressed by you, especially Mr. Li, who actually has even less hope. Why do you say that? Before, why I thought Mr. Li had hope, apart from the good development of his Changchun Industrial Company, Limited, was because he had always been in contact with Mr. Shen. If he could eat up Hutchison Whampoa, Mr. Li would definitely be different. He would be soaring into the sky. Now that you've eaten Hutchison Whampoa, Mr. Li has no chance. He's lost his best chance. Aren't there still foreign banks like IHA, Wheelock, and Taikou in Shangjiang? Yang Ming asked with a smile. Merisi smiled and said, both Jardine Matheson Land, Swire Pacific, Li Jiaqing and Bao Yugang don't have to think about acquiring them. On the contrary, Wheelock still has some opportunities. Even then, they can't take advantage of Wheelock now. Dropped. Like Hutchison Whampoa, historically, if Li Jiaqing had not received the support of Shenbai and Huifeng Bank, with Li Jiaqing's strength, he would not have been able to defeat Hutchison Whampoa. Historically, Li Jiaqing was known as the snake swallowing the elephant after swallowing Hutchison Whampoa. As for Bao Yugang, he is stronger than Li Jiaqing, but historically, when he swallowed Wharf, Huifeng Bank also lent a lot of money to Bao Yugang. Mr. Yang, there is another very important point. If Li Jiaqing can swallow up Hutchison Whampoa, Hutchison Whampoa's assets, especially real estate, can stably bring huge liquidity to Li Jiaqing for development. Now he loses Hutchison Whampoa, and naturally lost this huge liquidity. Yang Ming was really surprised that Merisi actually saw this. When Yang Ming and his mentor were studying the Chinese economy in Hong Kong in his previous life, they noticed it. Li Jiaqing was very different before and after he acquired Hutchison Whampoa. Li Jiaqing acquired Hutchison Whampoa. Especially after 1984, Li Jiaqing was able to get large sums of money from Hutchison Whampoa's dividends every year. In addition, Hutchison Whampoa's huge reserve land has also brought a lot of wealth to Li Jiaqing, so that after the 1990s, Li Jiaqing could continue to hoard land in the mainland and obtain more wealth. Now Li Jiaqing is afraid it will be difficult to say. It is precisely because of this that Merisi feels that it will be difficult for Li Jiaqing to make another breakthrough. Yang Ming is different. In addition to being strong enough and supported by strong capital flows, swallowing up Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa can bring stable dividends to the Empire Group, as well as enough reserve land to bring more and more wealth. However, Merisi knew that Yang Ming's biggest shortcoming now was the lack of people. Yang Ming acquired Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa. Like Wharf, there are many senior executives and formal employees. Hutchison Whampoa has 200,000 to 300,000 employees, including many senior executives and general managers. Yang Ming was not familiar with those management teams, and those people were not used by Yang Ming. This was Yang Ming's biggest shortcoming. Have to say, Li Jiaqing is still very good at recognizing people. In his previous life, Li Jiaqing and Merisi met several times, and they could see Merisi's management ability. Now, Merisi will not join Changchun Industrial Group and cannot be used by Li Jiaqing. Yang Ming wouldn't use him directly. Mr. Malice, I can see that you are indeed very capable. Mr. Yang, I just want to be a qualified professional manager. That he is not sure whether Yang Ming wants him now. Yang Ming is Chinese, as if he suddenly appeared. The most important thing is that he looks young. Mr. Malice, from your conversation just now, I recognize your ability. However, you also know that you just came here, so it is impossible for you to hold an important position directly. Mr. Yang, give me time and opportunity, I can start from ordinary management. Merisi said directly. That's not what I meant. I want you to do one thing, and if you complete it, I will make you the general manager of the Imperial Group. General manager of Imperial Group? Isn't that the second in command of the Imperial Group? Merisi was also surprised. Boss, tell me. I heard that there is a drink called Red Bull in Siam in Nanyang. It was developed by a Chinese pharmaceutical company named Su Shubiao. I am very optimistic about the future development of this drink. If you can buy out the ownership of Red Bull, your mission is accomplished. Red Bull drink? Merisi has worked in Singapore for many years and has indeed heard of this drink, but he has never drank it. Now when I hear the boss say that, it's strange. Why does the boss think so favorably of this drink? Why does the boss know about this drink? Boss, are you buying all the rights to Red Bull beverage? Yes, I bought it out. From now on, the ownership of Red Bull has nothing to do with the Su family. Boss, how much are you willing to pay? That the current Red Bull market is actually very small, and it is mainly popular in Siam. Later, Red Bull spread all over the world. It was because of the support of Austrian tycoons that it became one of the most popular functional drinks in the world. 100 million Hong Kong dollars. Please read it. Chapter 79 Invitation to the Governor's Mansion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Merisi came in a hurry and left in a hurry, from beginning to end. Lin Shoji outside the door had no idea what the boss and Merisi were talking about inside. When Merisi came out of the office, he nodded to Lin Shoji and left quickly. Boss, that Mr. Merisi is gone. Lin Shoji came in and said. Yang Ming nodded. Now he is happy. Speaking of which, Kira was the first white man to surrender to him. However, Kayla is still from Huifeng Bank on the surface and cannot be regarded as his real subordinate. As for this Merisi, it's different. In his previous life, Merisi was Li Jiaqing's right-hand man and the second in command of the Changchun Industrial Group. It was only after Li Jiaqing acquired Hutchison Whampoa that Li Jiaqing subdued this subordinate. Now, Merisi himself came to the door in person. He was the first truly capable white man to join him. How could Yang Ming be unhappy? Have you known Merisi before? Boss, I don't know you. Merisi has worked in Singapore for many years and is also the CEO of the Hu family Haw Par company in Xian Jiapa. Merisi is not well known in Xiangjiang, so it is normal for Lin Shoji not to know him. Soon he'll be famous. When Merisi went to Siam, Yang Ming didn't have to think about how to acquire the ownership of Su Shubiao's Red Bull Beverage Company for 100 Hong Kong dollars million. Noon, Yang Ming finished his work meal in the company canteen. In the afternoon, Yang Ming was reading the newspaper in the chairman's office, and the landline phone next to him rang. Lin Shoji went over to pick it up and answer it. After a while, Lin Shoji said, Boss, this is Miss Kayla's call. She said she was going to your house to celebrate the new year. Pay a New Year call. Now on the second day of the Lunar New Year, it is normal for Kayla to visit the Yang family for New Year greetings. Tell her I'll get off work early. Lin Shoji hung up the phone, and Chen Zhenhua from outside came in and pushed Yang Ming in the wheelchair to leave, get on the Rolls-Royce and ride back to the Repulse Bay mid-levels villa. When Yang Ming's Rolls-Royce stopped, housekeeper Lin Dezhong, maids Azu, and Zhong Chuhong have already come out to greet them. Master. Yang Ming got on the wheelchair and said, "Housekeeper, Miss Kayla will come over later to pay New Year's greetings. We will prepare more dishes tonight." "Yes, Mr. Yang." When Azu and Zhong Chuhong pushed Yang Ming towards the garden, Lin Dezhong caught up and said, "Mr. Yang, today our Yang family suddenly received a lot of congratulations and invitations." Congratulations post. Invitation. Yang Ming knew that on the first day of the new year, when he swallowed up Hutchison Whampoa and became the boss of the largest group in Hong Kong, he could not even think about becoming famous. Once a person becomes famous, naturally all kinds of people want to get close to you. "How much did you charge?" "Young Master Yang, there may be hundreds of copies." "Several hundred copies?" Considering the current population of 4 to 5 million in Xiangjiang, there are hundreds of invitations or congratulations. Not surprisingly, these are sent by the richest people in Xiangjiang, whether it's making friends or having other ideas. "Send it to the study first. I'll take a look at it tonight." "Yes, Mr. Yang." After Lin Dezhong left, Azu and Zhong Chuhong stood nearby, looking at Zhong Chuhong today. She should be wearing the dress Azu gave her, and she looks more and more beautiful. "Zhong Chuhong, don't you just go to work tomorrow?" "Young Master Yang, I was afraid that no one would take notes for you, so I came back early." "Are you afraid that no one will record it for him?" Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh. "Do you know how many people there are in the Hutchison Whampoa company that I acquired?" Zhong Chuhong shook his head. "There are probably 200,000 to 300,000 people. I can find anyone to record it for me." When Azu and Zhong Chuhong were surprised again, they knew that when Yang Ming acquired Wharf, there must have been hundreds of thousands of Wharf employees. After all, 1/10 of the people in Xiangjiang are working for Yang Ming. Perhaps because Yang Ming had read through his thoughts, Zhong Chuhong seemed a little embarrassed. At this moment, a red MG car stopped. A young woman with blonde hair, wearing a long yellow dress and high heels, got out of the car. This person was Kayla. After Azu went up to meet him. "Mr. Yang, congratulations." Kayla said. It was really hard for Kayla to imagine that Yang Ming really swallowed up Hutchison Whampoa in a short period of time. Inside, how did Yang Ming do it? Even though she participated in some things, she still doesn't understand many things. "Kayla, I also want to thank you for your help. Sit there for a while in the garden." The two took the elevator to the 3rd floor. After arriving at Yang Ming's study, in Kira's eyes, Yang Ming's study seemed a bit mysterious. When Yang Ming sat in front of his desk, there were all kinds of exquisite congratulations and invitations in front of me. "Mr. Yang, what is this? I heard from the housekeeper that they were all delivered today. I'm afraid there are hundreds of copies." At this moment, Kayla understood that Yang Ming was probably the most popular big shot in Xiangjiang now. Kayla picked up the invitations and congratulations and read them carefully. "Mr. Yang, this is the congratulations and invitations sent to you by the governor of the government house, Mr. and Mrs. Maliho. Governor's Palace Maklihos. The current governor of Xiangjiang is Mai Lihao, which means that Mai Lihao's identity is not simple. Logically speaking, he should have paid a visit to the governor of Xiangjiang long ago. As far as Xiangjiang is concerned now, in addition to the Taipan of Huifeng Bank, who is known as the god of wealth, the current governor Malihao is also a person who has a great influence." "Governor Maliho? I haven't seen him yet." It's not like I haven't seen it before. Yang Ming has only seen it in newspapers and TV. "Mr. Yang, as the current Governor General of Maliho, you should visit him in person. This will be of great benefit to you in Hong Kong and Great Britain. Malihao is the governor of the governor's mansion, so it is impossible for him to come down to visit Yang Ming for the first time." Yang Ming nodded. "This is a congratulations and invitation from Mr. Bao Yugang of the Bao family." "Bao Yugang?" Yang Ming met him last night in the conference room of Huifeng Bank building. Unexpectedly, Bao Yugang actually had people send him invitations and congratulations. Besides, there are also congratulations and invitations from Mr. Hui Ingdong of the Hui family. Kayla picked up the copy and showed it to Yang Ming. It looked like the list of invitations and congratulations were not simple. What surprised Yang Ming was, in addition to those from Xiangjiang, there were actually messages of congratulations to him from Haojiang, Nanyang, and even the mainland. Mr. Yang, I will reorganize the hundreds of invitations and congratulations for you according to their identities. However, there are hundreds of invitations and congratulations here. I'm afraid it won't be that easy to sort them out. At this point, it is enough to show that Kira really knows a lot of people. Now Kira personally comes to Yang's house to pay New Year's greetings, and it's not just as simple as paying New Year's greetings. She is here on behalf of Shenbai. Please read it. Chapter 80 Shenbai's Invitation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. While Kayla was still looking through the invitations or congratulations, Yang Ming thought that maybe he really lacked someone as capable as Kayla to help him. Historically, Li Jiaqing was able to be so successful in business because he had many talents around him. For example, in dealing with white people, Li Jiaqing proposed the strategy of using barbarians to control barbarians. Li Jiaqing believed that white people understood white people better, and using white people to deal with white people would be more likely to succeed. Now, it's clear that Kira is, too, in this regard. Kayla is not only an account manager at Huifeng Securities Company, she is also a top student from Great Britain, and is more familiar with European and American white people. Yang Ming was very clear about this in his previous life. Now when Kira bent down and looked through the invitation card carefully, Yang Ming said, Kira, why don't you come to my side and do things for me? Kayla was a little surprised, but she still said, Mr. Yang, now is not the time. You know it is more in your interest to arrange me at Huifeng Bank now. Because of Yang Ming's relationship, Kayla now gets Shenbai's attention. If she leaves Huifeng Bank, Shenbai will definitely arrange another person to contact Yang Ming. It will be difficult to say whether that person will really work for Yang Ming. Kayla, you are very smart and your words are right. You really need to stay alone at Huifeng Bank now. It was precisely because of that Yang Ming did not let Kayla join the Imperial Group. From Yang Ming's acquisition of Huifeng Bank's Hutchison Whampoa shares, Kayla played a big role in it. It can be regarded as his greatest contributor. Kira quickly guessed, now Yang Ming is very short of talents. It's not that Yang Ming lacks people around him. Like Hutchison Whampoa, Wharf has a lot of management, those management personnel. I am afraid that Yang Ming cannot use any of them with confidence. Thinking of this, Kira immediately had her thoughts. When Kayla stopped and continued to read the invitations, she looked at him and said, Come here this time. It was indeed Mr. Shen who asked me to invite you. What's the matter, Mr. Shen? Mr. Shen would like to discuss cooperation with you alone. Yang Ming had already guessed that Shenbai was very anxious. Shen Yi was able to sell Hutchison International's 90 million shares to Yang Ming not only because of the 3 valuable gifts Yang Ming gave him, but more because of this. In other words, for Shen Yi to be able to sit in that position, he must have put business matters first. What does he want to talk about? Mr. Shen didn't tell me, but I guess it must be about stock cooperation. Yang Ming has made huge profits on any trading day in the global stock market. In this situation, how could Shenbai not be anxious? Yang Ming made a profit on the New York Stock Exchange that night, which was Huifeng Bank's 2-year net profit. If Huifeng Bank can cooperate with Imperial Group and double its profits, it will be impossible. The most important thing is that Huifeng Bank and Shenbai now want something from Yang Ming. It is so easy to make money now. Would Yang Ming easily agree to cooperate with Huifeng Bank? If Huifeng Bank was not willing to cut off its flesh, it would be impossible for him to do these things. Where does he want to meet me? Mr. Yang, can you walk normally again? Yang Ming shook his head. During this period of time, Yang Ming recovered fairly well. A lot of the dead skin on the atrophied muscles had fallen off, and he looked much stronger than before. In the past month, Yang Ming has gained 10 pounds. Even then, his body still couldn't be like a normal person. Mr. Shen originally wanted to invite you to play golf, but now that you can't walk normally, I'm afraid we will have to meet him somewhere else. Mr. Yang, where do you want to meet him? Play golf. Of course Yang Ming can't fight now. Well, you go back and tell Mr. Shen that I will meet him alone on the yacht tomorrow. at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Yacht? Xiangjiang Yacht Club is one of the most important clubs in Xiangjiang. The influence is not as high as that of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, but the yachts in Hong Kong are also one of the representatives of the rich, nobles and elites in Hong Kong. Those who can own their own yacht in Xiangjiang and become a member of the Xiangjiang Yacht Club are basically rich or noble people. After Yang Ming acquired Wharf and Hutchison Whampoa, the assets he owned, including yacht berths, were beyond the reach of ordinary people. As for various luxury yachts, Yang Ming did not buy them. Wharf or Hutchison Whampoa really own many. When Kayla heard that Yang Ming was going to meet Mr. Shen on the yacht, her eyes lit up. Mr. Yang, it's settled. The two discussed the matter. The Yang family has already started preparing a rich dinner. When Yang Ming and Kayla came out of the study, Yang Ming asked Zhu to call Lin Dezhong. Master Yang. After Lin Dezhong came over, he stood aside. Miss Kayla and I have read most of those visiting posts and invitations. After dinner, you and Miss Kayla will deal with them together. Also, tomorrow morning, I plan to go to the governor's mansion in person to visit the MaleProtagonist couple. You will all have someone send me a visiting note tonight. Yes, Mr. Yang. Lin Dezhong glanced at Kayla next to Yang Ming and felt that Miss Kayla's status in young master's mind was not low. That night, Yang Ming finished dinner. While walking in the garden, Zhu and Zhong Chuhong stood nearby. Until about 8 o'clock in the evening, Linda Chung and Kayla are still processing the congratulations and invitations. The gifts sent by the family have to be sent back in equal measure, which is a bit troublesome to deal with. Now it is not only his personal matter, but also a matter involving Yang Ming, and even the face of the imperial group and the Yang family. Yang Ming came out of the bath after being served by Zhu. Returned to the study. While he was reading the newspaper there, Zhong Chuhong returned to his usual self and began to take notes for Yang Ming. Now Zhong Chuhong is discovering more and more the importance of reading. In the past, my family background was not good, so I didn't study much, and I didn't think that reading more would be useful. In the Yang family, the more contact she had with Yang Ming, the more she discovered that the more reading, the more useful it would be. It could at least help Yang Ming do more things. The higher the status, the better the benefits and salary. I was busy until about 11 o'clock in the evening. Okay, you go back and rest first. Yang Ming asked Zhu and Zhong Chuhong to rest first. Kayla and Lin Dezhong in the next room finally processed all the hundreds of invitations and congratulations. Now hand over the processing results to Yang Ming. Yang Ming took it over and looked at it and said, "It's done well, just do it like this." Young Master Yang, I really appreciate Miss Kayla's help tonight. I was asked to handle it by myself. I'm afraid it would be easy to make mistakes. At this time, Lin Dezhong realized that his abilities were really limited. When Yang Ming met him for the first time, he asked him how many people he could manage. At that time, he didn't care. But now it seems that there is really a big gap between people. Mr. Yang, Butler Lin is actually pretty good. It's just his first time dealing with this matter. He may not have much experience. Once you get familiar with it, it will be fine. After Linda Chung left, soon, Yang Ming and Kayla were left here. This is a reward for you. Go buy a Bayer or a Mercedes-Benz and drive it. Please read it.